Welcome, everyone. Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, I want to talk about Jackie Chan and the Triads attack on him and blackmail. I covered this in other particular lecture, but I want to cover this short and sweet here. Plain and simple, Jackie Chan has stated to the press that he has been constantly harassed by the Triads and that he ran to America, which he found out was more corrupt than China. Isn't that an interesting observation? People should take note of that. He stated that America is a very corrupt society because when he fled, he found out that he was followed and supported by the local police that wouldn't help him. But he tended to set up some space that way. And they threatened him consistently through his entire career, trying to extort money from him. Now, this is an old game that Triads have been doing to the movie industry people because there's so much money in it. So there's an article stating this, and I will probably put a link down below, but Jackie Chan made a complete statement to this magazine, and he's always kind of played a game, Jackie Chan, and I understand what he's doing now. Generally seems to be a good man who's done a lot of charity work, helping people eat, training people, particularly children. He came from I don't know if he came from a bad childhood or not, but he wasn't too bright. His father sent him to the opera school, and he was kind of, didn't have a family that way. But if you look into it, I'm not sure that this is always surprising. He basically went to school in the first year, and they said he was retarded. He couldn't learn anything. So this is what prompted him being put in another type of school. So just to give you a quick synopsis there. So the whole idea is that he has been constantly, as he states, harassed by them. Apparently, in one particular situation, he got 3 hand grenades, and I don't know how, 3 hand grenades and 4 or 5 handguns that he was sitting outside in some restaurant area expecting to be approached by the Triads. And when they did approach him, he pulled his guns and told them he had grenades and everything else. This is what he was pushed to do. This is quite mind-boggling, the kind of things that should be investigated. When this, I don't know if this worked or not. It worked at the moment, and he was telling them that enough's enough. Leave me alone. I'm not going to tolerate this anymore, and was ready to shoot it out with them and throw some hand grenades. The fact that he was able to get hand grenades is a fun fact. On the other hand, he also apparently had 3 or 4 guns, and which he was going to fight it out with these people with. I mean, this is not a joke. This is one of the biggest movie stars in the world. And this has been documented. Now, Jackie Chan has come out and tried to get on the government side for help, stating that, Taiwan's a joke, it's not the real world, that he supports the policy there, that the Chinese, and you'll hear this as a company line, that the Chinese are kind of rowdy people and they need to be controlled by the government. So this is the company line that you'll hear from most people who are trying to get in good with the government. And there's a huge pressure because the Chinese now own everything, including the movie industry, that you don't talk bad against the Chinese. You don't give support for Taiwan or you're going to pay a big price. They're going to yank you from Asia in terms of any coverages, and this will cost you and your corporation possibly everything, even put you out of business. This is a known fact of how they work now. So the whole idea is that this then came up in the article and everything else, and the police contacted him. Not to ask him, what can we do to help you against the Triads, but they told him that, it's illegal to have a gun in the particular area he said he had a gun. Sounds like the police you get all around the world. So they weren't concerned that he was being threatened by hoodlums and what could they do to move in and do anything. After all, they know that was going on. They're getting bribes from it. All police around the world get money from criminals. So the whole idea, but they wanted to ask him why he had guns and where did he get them from. And apparently he said, well, no, it wasn't in that area. It was in some other area. And I'm assuming that that other area, apparently he could have a gun. But that was with it, and of course they dropped that stuff because it would probably look so bad in the media. But that's the story, people. This is what goes on. And he gives at least lip service support to the Chinese government so he can go there and get favors to keep the Triads off his back or whatever it is, or keep his payments down, or whatever happens there. But the bottom line is that Bruce Lee was murdered by the Triads. They certainly were thinking of murdering or hurting Jackie Chan, who couldn't get help outside his country, which is another typical thing, even though being one of the major and biggest movie stars on the planet. So this is quite shocking, but this is the real world, people, and people have to look into that, understand what's going on. This is a real story coming from Jackie Chan himself and being reported in the press. So this is quite shocking. Take note of the things that are real in life instead of a lot of silliness of debating who's the greatest martial artist when we have these very serious corruption problems going on. So until next time.